Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. Hope you are great. So I came across this beautiful black woman's video where she was talking about white women in offices. All right. So she asked white women to black women what the police are to black men. I am not waiting for anybody to answer this question, but I am going to say yes. And if you watch this video thoroughly, you definitely will see all the examples and the encounter that I have brought here that I listed all up for you people because this is who they are. And I have also talked about how majority of them went into some profession, nursing, doctor, healthcare workers, cops and all why they went into that field was because of something like authority being higher, HR too being higher, and somebody have to be under them. You already saw the videos of what healthcare workers did this month, right? There is also one that I saw yesterday. I was just passing. See, I will look for that young man's video. If I see it, I will put it for you. When black people talk about this, they are not exaggerating. They are talking about their experience because medical racism is a thing. Corporate racism is a thing. Microaggression, all of them. We really can do better. On a very serious note, we can actually do better. Let's get into this video.
Before I get started, I'm going to tell you right now, this video is going to be one that might trigger some of you because you're going to feel yourself being called out. And if I'm not talking about you and I'm not referring to you, then you need to be quiet because only hit dogs do what? Holler. Here we go. I was on the clock app the other night as I was getting ready to go to bed, as I am wont to do. And I just heard someone say something. A sister said that white women are to black women what police officers are to black men. And I had to stop in my tracks and think about it. And I was like, damn it, if she ain't right. Because the more I sit with it, the more I realize, yeah, that's exactly how it is. And let me explain why. We say all the time that HR is not your friend. A lot of us know that HR, especially when white women in HR are in charge, HR is very much a problem. White women in HR are the biggest architects of harm for black employees and particularly black women in the workplace. But the older I get, the more I realize it's not just HR. It's any position where white women are placed in authority over vulnerable black people, especially black women and black children. Any position where we are dependent, any position where we are in need, any position where we can be policed, disciplined, denied, or dismissed. That's where they become the most harmful and dangerous. And before anybody jumps in to say not all, let me be very clear. I'm not talking about the handful of exceptions. I'm talking about the pattern, the majority, the lived experiences of black and brown women everywhere, but particularly black women everywhere. Because the pattern is consistent. I speak to people every day on discovery calls, and the majority of the people I speak to are black women, and the majority of the bad actors in almost every situation are white women. Not saying there are not other people who are bad actors, but when I talk about the majority, it's white women. So let's start with healthcare. There is a video circulating right now of a black woman in labor in a hospital. I believe it's in Dallas or Austin, Texas, but it's in Texas. And in the video, it's absolutely visible that she's in excruciating pain. And the white nurse literally has her back turned to this woman, making her sit there and complete a routine intake. I won't share the video because I just think it's traumatizing. The black woman is clearly about to give birth. She can't stand, she can barely talk, she's doubled over in a wheelchair in pain. And the white nurse, who can see all of this, refuses to move with any type of emergency. She refuses to escalate, she refuses to act, she refuses to care. 12 minutes later, that baby was born, I believe they said, in the wheelchair. This is not a bad nurse. This is a pattern of how white women in so-called, quote, caring, unquote, professions treat black women when we are at their mercy. And this has always been the case. When I was giving birth, I made sure that I not only had a plan, a childbirth plan, but I made sure that my cousin, who was a nurse, was with me for the entire time. And she was there to step in and advocate for me because I knew that I would not be safe in that environment if I was alone. This is how Black maternal mortality happens. This is how we die. And they still get praised as, quote, angels, unquote. Then there's education. Let me tell you something personal. I raised my kid in the public school system, primarily public charter schools. And let me tell you, it was hell from beginning to end. And I had to be their number one advocate every single day, every single year. It was one fight after another, one email after another, one meeting where I had to check somebody every single time. And the majority of the people I had to interact with were white women. And when it comes to Black children, regardless of gender, many of them are horrendous, horrendous. They do not see our kids as children. They do not see our kids as deserving of protection. They do not see our kids as worthy of patience, grace, or humanity. I figured out very quickly that they did not have my kids' best interests at heart. And one of my biggest regrets, one of my true life regrets, is that I could not figure out a way to homeschool my kid. Time and time again, the people who intervened and saved my child and literally ended up saving my child's life were Black women and Black men in those school systems. Black children are not safe in these systems, and Black parents know this. Now let's go back to the workplace and HR. White women are the architects of hell for Black women at work. That's just a statement of fact. I'm not saying all, but I am saying most. And that is based on my lived experience and the experiences of the thousands of women who come to me on discovery calls and consultations. A lot of y'all think your problem is the company or the policy or the white man at the top. And I'm not saying all of those things are not an issue. But the architects of your demise, the architect of your despair, the architect of the mess that pushed you out of that last job, 9 times out of 10, is a white woman. She's the one writing you up. She's the one tone policing you. She's the one crying when you challenge her. She's the one calling HR on you. She's the one manipulating the process, whispering behind closed doors, sowing seeds of doubt about your competence. She's the one documenting you while making sure there's no documentation on her or others that look like her. Sometimes she's acting on behalf of white men, absolutely. But the face of the harm, the gatekeeper of the harm, the frontline agent of the harm, white women. And here's why the comparison hits me so hard when the woman compared them to the police and how Black men see the police. White men may be the architects of the system and the owners of the system, and they are. But white women are the everyday enforcers when it comes to Black women. They are the ones who carry it out quietly, with a smile, with a soft voice, with concern, with policy. That's what makes it so dangerous. White male power is obvious. It's straightforward. It's in your face. White female power is protected, shielded, and underestimated. And that makes it far more insidious. They cry to derail accountability. They play victim while perpetrating harm. They manipulate narratives with a level of social credibility we don't get access to. And the harm they cause is not questioned because society refuses to imagine them as dangerous. They are the police of the workplace. They are the police of the classroom. They are the police of the hospital room. They are the police of any system that has the power to control, punish, deny, or destroy Black lives, especially the lives of Black women. Let me end with this. The more I reflect on that statement that white women are to Black women what police are to Black men, the more I realize how true it is. And that's a frightening thing. Because just like the police, white women act with the impunity. White women act with impunity. White women are believed. White women are protected. White women can harm us with no consequences. And we are the ones who get told to calm down, to be polite, to communicate differently, to give grace, to understand their intentions. No. I'm going to say that again. No, we're not doing that anymore. Call the pattern what it is. Protect yourself. Document every single thing. Trust behavior, not performance or aesthetics. And stop expecting safety from people who have shown you over and over again that they will never prioritize your well-being. For those who are going to say, this is not me, and what can I do? When you see this kind of behavior happening from people who look like you, check them. And leave Black women alone at work. Let us do our work. Leave us alone and let us strive, as my mother used to say. Leave us in peace. And stop being the perpetrator of harm. At this point, it is not a question of you not knowing what the harmful behavior is. It's a question of you insisting on continuing to engage in it. If this video was helpful, please hit the like button. Take a moment, subscribe, comment, but do so constructively and respectfully. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. This is Anne Marie. This is the Anti-HR. HR is not your enemy. They are definitely not your friend, but I am. See you in the next video. Bye.
Doctors and nurses are to Black women what police officers are to Black men. And what I mean by that is they quite literally don't see us as human. They don't see us as people who are deserving of basic decency and respect and empathy. And it's the most disgusting thing because when we're having an issue or we need help, that's who we're supposed to go to. And they don't see us as fucking human. Watching the video of that woman who was in active labor, damn near fighting for her life, because in case we forgot, pregnancy can be life-threatening. Whole time, LaChris Devon, the nurse at Dallas Regional Medical Center, is sitting there more worried about paperwork, not showing a shred of fucking empathy for this woman who is fucking fighting for her life. And even beyond just this one nurse who was put on administrative leave, not fired, but put on administrative leave, I'm side-eyeing every single medical professional in that hospital because what do you mean nobody thought to step in? Nobody thought to intervene. The mom was turned away from the ambulance bay. She had to go searching for her own wheelchair. The security guard had to help her get her daughter out of the car. No, this is an environment that was set up and everybody in that hospital is complicit. That whole hospital needs to be investigated, and that Timu Red Queen LaChrista, she needs her license revoked immediately because this is fucking disgusting. Medical racism in 2025 is fucking insane. Black women deserve protection, respect, empathy, and care, especially when that's in your fucking job description. Hope this helps. Peace and love. Talk to you later.
This is for the white woman watching this page. I'm curious, do you stand up for people of color, especially when they are the only person of color in the room? There are many times that I have been in a room where there's one person of color and they're describing an incident that is definitely racist and they are silenced. So I want to share with you a few microaggressions that when a Black person is describing their situation, that you can identify and call it out. Research has shown that if somebody names it straight away as racism, that validation actually creates a sense of peace and empathy and calms the nervous system of the Black person because they feel like their experience has been recognized. Types of microaggressions you might see is that when the Black person is speaking, they are interrupted, they are silenced, they're made wrong for what they're sharing, even though they are right. They are smiled at in a bypassing way and then treated like they know nothing or they're not deserving or they're not worthy. That's called a double bind, where a mixed message where somebody is smiling but their behavior is not aligned with it. You may see evidence of contempt. For example, somebody might treat them with sarcasm, eye rolling, shrugs, sighs, as though here we go again. They may be treated differently to the white people around them. For instance, somebody might listen to the white people and not even ask the black person what they think. When you stand up to this and say, this is weird because right now what I'm seeing are microaggressions that I perceive as racist. What that does is let every white person know that their behavior that is racist is unacceptable, not welcome, and it's being rooted out. And all of us who are white have been growing up in a system that has systemic racism, where education, economics, housing, medicine, healthcare are frequently racist. And unless we are pointing it out and acknowledging it, it will perpetuate. We need to be a voice for those who are not heard and who are treated badly. This is for... Let's talk about why white women don't police black women and why they don't stand up against racism. So growing up, obviously, as a white woman, I was expected to be nice, sweet, and happy. My brothers could be angry, aggressive, hurt me, punch my head. They did all of that. But I was not allowed to stand up for myself. I had to understand the white men. When I confronted my mom and said, my brothers just beat my head, she said, oh, he must have been having a bad day. Why don't you go and see if he's okay? So white women are socialized to put white men first and to deny their own experience and be sweet and nice to get loved. If I wanted to be loved and accepted by my family, I had to silence myself and ignore and abandon all that I felt. I was not prepared to do this. I have no contact with my family. If I confronted the racism I saw in the men around me, I was insulted, mocked, and shamed for being somebody who loved black people. I was shocked as a child that I would be rejected for saying, why do you think that's okay? Would you like to be spoken to like that? How come you think that you can speak about people like that? Do you not realize that this is emotional abuse that you're doing? Why do you think it's okay to be racist? At each point, I was told to be quiet, that I'm ruining the day, that I should just be happy and focus and be grateful. Now, I am probably autistic, so I'm direct, and I focus on the truth and fairness. And for me, racism is wrong and it's unfair, and I will always stand up for it. And it will mean, and has meant, a lot of rejection for doing this, and I will continue to do that. But for a lot of white women, they haven't had the capacity or the skills to be able to go, I'm going to make a stand. What making a stand means is they will be isolated, rejected, abused, put down, controlled, made wrong, and they're too scared to do this. So they repeat what has been done to them, where they are tone policed and made wrong for not just being happy, sweet, and nice. We need to make a stand against the socialization that silences and represses us. So please, find your voice. Stand up for yourself, stand up for others, stand up against racism and sexism. Together we rise.
I saw something that said, doctors are to black women what police are to black men. Just think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. Because that's not just some wild comparison. That's actually reality. We talk a lot about the police brutality, the profiling, the lack of humility, the fact that no matter how compliant you are, they will still see you as a threat. A black man can walk into a traffic stop and never walk out. Likewise, a black woman can walk into a hospital and never walk out either. Black men have to survive a system that was never meant to protect them. Black women have to survive a system that was never meant to believe them. They'll tell the police, I can't breathe. They'll tell the doctor, I'm in pain. And in both cases, they get dismissed. Serena Williams almost died giving birth because the doctors didn't take her seriously. She is one of the most famous women in the world. If she couldn't get the proper care, just imagine the women who don't have the fame, who don't have the money, who don't have the ability to fight back. The same way the police have been conditioned to see black men as dangerous, doctors have been conditioned to believe that black women are over-exaggerating, dramatic, that we can take more pain. How many black women have to die from childbirth? How many medical complaints have to go ignored before we realize that the white coat is just as deadly as the badge? Different uniform, same disregard.
I have not seen black men incorporated into the pet to threat pipeline by Dr. Keisha Thomas, but I have seen in real life black men targeted by white women at work. And I don't know if that means that pet to threat expands to include black men or if this is a separate phenomenon. So I'm curious what your experience has been, if you're willing to share it. The worst I have seen was when I worked at a place there was another white woman manager who was like my peer, who on top of being a horrible employee and shitty person, had a vendetta against black men specifically. I'd already caught her abusing one of my own employees and had locked her out of meetings because of it. I'd reported her to senior leadership and they were just like, oh, that's just how she is, we're talking to her. And I was like, this is not okay. And they would also tell me, they'd be like, yeah, other people have problems with her too, it's not just you. And I'm like, so we're seeing a pattern of bad behavior here. But another black man who I did not manage, who was a peer, called me and told me that same woman, he had caught her like after a Teams call. He had thought he hung up, but he didn't, because like we all think we hit the button and it doesn't work. And she had listened in to him talking to his wife, because this was during work from home, about a vacation they were planning to take. And not only did she stay on the line and not hang up like a normal person would, she then the next day accused him of trying to take vacation without letting her know. And he reported her to senior leadership and they never made him work with her again. But like, not only did she keep her job, like she still got more opportunities in that company than anybody else. She was absolutely a favorite. And that was just insanely violating and weird to me. Like she was like, you were taking a vacation without letting me know. Like, don't all married people talk to their partner before they put in a PTO request? And also, why the fuck are you eavesdropping in somebody else?
This is all I got from this video, and a very big shout out to this beautiful black woman. She is so gorgeous, you know. Now let me tell us something, because this is not the first time this particular statement she made has appeared or come up one way or the other, especially when it comes to HR. I have talked about this several times. HR, nurses, and all that. And sincerely speaking, I won't lie to you. Excuse me. Why are white women to black women what the police are to black men? Yes. Yes. That is what they are. Policing, microaggression, all of it. There is, whose video did I bring some days about how somebody talked about how most nurses are more like people from the plantation that left plantation, like the police in the plantation that left plantation and decided to become nurse, doctors, and all HR and all that in order to come for people that look like me. And that is what it is. I have seen several white women sit, like you and I saw the video. I love the way she used that example of the nurse, what she did, because it's still very fresh. Yeah, it happened this November, and we are still in November. Was it last week, if I'm not mistaken? A nurse watched a black woman scream in pain for how long? before she could attend to her. Why documenting nonsense? And the woman was screaming to the toppest of her voice. After that, before we could say Jack, I think the next day or in 2 days, another one happened. A black woman also they did not attend to her, told her to go back home and come back. And guess what happened? 8 minutes. She gave birth at the roadside. 8 minutes. I was scrolling yesterday. I saw a video of a black man who said that he has been to hospital several times, and there is something he was having on his chest, but the doctors and nurses have dismissed him like 4 times, and he doesn't live in the same city with the mother till the mother took him to hospital and had to stay there. Like, you should know what is going on with my son. My son can't be having this pain and nobody's telling him what is going on. They keep telling him it's a minor stuff and all that. Guess what? The last doctor that they went to see, that the mother came. Black women, shout out to you. Because most times you guys make things move. The mother came, took him to hospital, and guess what happened? The young man has stage 5 cancer. Stage 5 cancer. And all the doctors and nurses that have dismissed his problems told him to go and they will give him like Tylenol, do something for pain relief and all that. Never saw this. Stage 5. And he has been going to hospital. Huh? So if the mother did not come, what would have happened? What has been going on with him would have been managed earlier. But they refused. They did not want to. I cried my eyes out. Why? Because I don't know how many Black people this may have happened to that you did not get to hear it on the media. And thank God, that was when they started stage 5, 4 or 5. I think the last stage, if I'm not mistaken, please, yes, if you're a doctor or nurse, you can just tell me. I think 4 or 5, either I saw 4 or 5. It was already at the backstage. God is great. Thank God for using the mother. Because if God did not use the mother, I don't know what would have happened. The mothers came and said, no, if you guys are not ready to work anymore as health care professionals, let me know. We must find the root of what is wrong. Yeah, so when I said from the beginning, yes, that is what they are to Black people. They are very dead. When it comes to HR, oh no, I have covered so many videos about what they do in HR. They use that power to override you. I remember, you guys might have, the video I brought during the shutdown, a Black young man, I think he works with maybe, I don't know, a big news house. I don't want to guess with the news house, but you will remember this video that I am talking about, that clocked into work only for him to be, they told him that he's been sacked. They sacked almost everybody that is not white in the office. So he was like, oh, so he started going around to ask his colleagues that are white, did they get their sack notice, the letter and all that. So they said no. So he went around everybody It was only black and brown people that they laid off, and then left only white people. White women have said this several times. This is not the first or second time. Fourth, fifth, no, like billion times. So if you ask me, I am going to tell you that they are like what police are to black men. To policing and the microaggression, the macroaggression, all of it. I have also, there was a video of a young lady that I saw. Oh, yes. Her manager always harassing her. And she ended up quitting the job because she was just tired. Why is the manager harassing her? The manager always harasses her. Why? Because when they did the interview on phone, and when she sounded pretty white or something like that, according to the manager. So when she came in person, so to the manager, what I heard on phone is not what I am saying. He made the girls, the period she worked there, a living hell. The girl said she couldn't stay. She resigned and also gave them the reason why she resigned in the office. So they now had to review that, and then had to call her back, increase her salary, and made her stay at work better, because they said there is no room for racism at work. And they sacked the manager. Medical racism, work office racism, corporate office racism, they are terrible. And one thing I'm going to say that as a human being is that I don't know why I will have to be racist to you as a human being. My heart will not contain treating another person bad, let alone. It sucks. It's 2025. Come on, stop already. Bye for now.